The Canadian Grand Prix was supposed to be another chapter in McLaren's upward trajectory, a statement of consistency in what's becoming a ferocious 2025 title fight. Instead, it became a dramatic unraveling of momentum and composure for Lando Norris, whose miscalculated lunge on teammate Oscar Piastri not only ended his own race but shifted the entire dynamic within the team. While Mercedes and George Russell created a podium finish, the real beneficiary of the chaos was Oscar Piastri, who walked away with not only a solid 4th place finish, but more importantly, with a 22-point buffer over Norris in the standings. McLaren, meanwhile, is left licking its wounds, and Zak Brown may soon find himself navigating a very uncomfortable conversation behind closed doors. Just when it seemed that Lando Norris was on the verge of reclaiming ground on Oscar Piastri in the Drivers' Championship, a dramatic twist in the final laps of the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix flipped the script entirely. In a moment that will no doubt be replayed for weeks to come, Norris collided with his teammate while battling for 4th place, an incident that not only sabotaged his own race, but also cast a long shadow over McLaren's intra-team dynamic. In what appeared to be a racecraft masterclass turned meltdown, Norris, who started 7th, had carved his way through the field and looked set to snatch valuable points. But as the laps dwindled and the tension surged, the McLaren duo found themselves in a fierce dogfight that, while exciting for spectators, ended in disaster for the British driver. The result? A DNF for Norris, a fortunate 4th for Piastri, and a 22-point championship gap between the two. The defining moment came with just 3 laps remaining at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Norris, emboldened by a successful undercut strategy and solid pace, attempted a bold move on the main straight, diving up the inside of Piastri. But instead of executing a clinical overtake, he misjudged the distance, tapping the Australian's rear and subsequently losing control. The result was front wing damage, a shattered front suspension, and a hard hit into the wall that marked the end of Norris's day. To his credit, Norris was quick to hold his hand up, literally and figuratively. "I'm sorry, all my bad, all my fault, stupid from me," came the immediate radio message, capturing the gravity of the error. Later, in front of the media, the remorse remained unchanged. "No one to blame but myself. I apologize to the whole team, and to Oscar as well, for attempting something probably a bit too silly," he admitted. Oscar Piastri walked away with the bigger prize, 12 valuable points, a preserved car, and a larger margin over his teammate in the standings. The 2025 season has slowly turned into a chess match between the two McLaren drivers, and in Montreal, it was Piastri who came out with a well-earned checkmate, albeit one delivered through some friendly fire. Speaking post-race, Piastri refused to stoke the flames. "Obviously, it's not ideal for anyone, but I haven't actually seen the incident," he said. "If Lando has taken full responsibility, then that's how it goes." While acknowledging the intensity of the battle, he also maintained faith in the team's racing ethos. "We're both fighting for a world championship, and I'm very thankful that the team allows us to race. I don't expect this to change anything." That last sentence will no doubt be underlined at McLaren HQ. Team principal Andrea Stella wasn't as diplomatic, stating in no uncertain terms that while Norris's move wasn't malicious, it violated one of McLaren's non-negotiables. "We never want to see the two McLarens touching each other," he said. "It's something we definitely need to review because this is a very clear principle." Stella was firm but fair. Lando misjudged the distance. There was no malintent. He owned it immediately, which we appreciate, but it's certainly something we must discuss and review. It's absolutely a misjudgment that cost Lando a lot in the championship, and it cost the team valuable points. The Italian made it clear, while mistakes happen, intra-team collisions are a line that should not be crossed. Yet it's hard to ignore the undertone. This incident could become a reference point if tensions flare again. Ironically, the site of the incident, at the end of the main straight, has a familiar legacy. It was here in 2011 that Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button, then McLaren teammates, tangled in an eerily similar fashion. Back then, too, team strategy was questioned, and today, similar murmurs have resurfaced. Some fans and commentators noted that Norris's race engineer, Will Joseph, sounded unusually aggressive during the final exchanges, as though Piastri was another rival rather than a teammate. Stella dismissed those claims quickly. No particular bias. The message would have been the same with any other car, he said. But whether or not there was intent behind the tone, the optics of teammate-on-teammate collision, especially while fighting for championship position, can't be brushed aside easily. Since the duo began racing together, McLaren has prided itself on transparency and fairness, letting their drivers race under the so-called papaya rules. In essence, the philosophy allows freedom on track so long as it doesn't jeopardize the team's overall interests. But with the drivers now officially in a title fight, and Norris making prophetic remarks earlier in the weekend that it's only a matter of time before something happens, one has to wonder if that hands-off approach is sustainable. McLaren CEO Zak Brown has remained quiet so far, but there's no doubt that behind closed doors, questions are being asked. Is it time to introduce stricter team orders? Or does the team risk fracturing morale if they clip the wings of their two most valuable assets? Perhaps the biggest fallout from this incident is in the title picture. Heading into Canada, Norris had closed the championship gap to just 10 points. Now, Piastri leads him by 22, an advantage that could prove crucial in a season expected to go down to the wire. And it's not just about the points, it's about momentum, confidence, and perception within the team. Norris, despite his stellar performances in recent rounds, now finds himself on the back foot, both figuratively and literally. To add salt to the wound, both drivers were summoned to the stewards after the race. Piastri was also under investigation for a potential safety car infringement, although no penalty was handed down in the immediate aftermath. In the end, he walked away with a solid fourth-place finish, while Norris was left to reflect on what might have been. As Formula One prepares to head to Austria, McLaren has a decision to make, not just in terms of technical updates or strategies, but in how they manage their driver dynamic going forward. Is this just a bump in the road, or the beginning of a bigger internal conflict? For now, Stella believes in learning and moving forward. Our principles are already in place. Our drivers will learn from this, and we go racing again, he reiterated. But if history has taught us anything, it's that flashpoints like these often linger longer than expected. Whether this incident proves to be a minor hiccup or a pivotal moment in McLaren's season remains to be seen. What's clear, however, is that the stakes have never been higher. McLaren is in the thick of a constructors' battle, while Norris and Piastri are now legitimate title contenders. But as we saw in Montreal, the freedom to race can be both a blessing and a curse. The line between competition and chaos is razor thin, and this time, Norris crossed it. So where does McLaren go from here? Do they maintain their let them race philosophy and trust that the lessons have been learned? Or do they step in before the next costly error arises? Whatever the case, one thing is certain. The rivalry between Norris and Piastri has officially arrived. And as we look ahead to Austria, fans should buckle up, because this battle is far from over. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below.